couple years ago, this guy, he was an internet personality. He would make like rage videos about the Eagles, like the football team, I think, and people thought he was funny. And then sometime in 2020, he got caught trying to meet up with a 13-year-old girl for a cupcake. At least that's what he said. But you know, the the guy who caught him, which side note was exposed for being a racist, but that's besides the point. The guy who caught him
Eh.
recorded the whole thing. He got, like you guys were saying, just strings of texts.
Mhm.
EDP even sent like a picture of his shit. He sent other pictures, just gross stuff, gross stuff. And then we didn't hear from this guy EDP like for like over a year, I think. He deactivated everything. He was off the internet. There was all these rumors going around how he lost his apartment because doing YouTube was his job, so he lost all his income. He was living out of his car, all this stuff, and then he comes out of the blue, no, out of nowhere, like a year ago, and he just starts doing like live streams on these obscure platforms. And then he came back a few days ago with an apology video, of course, because that's what all these YouTubers do these days. We went over quite the apology video last weekend with Miss Colleen something with the ukulele. That was actually another child grooming thing, strangely enough. But yeah, so just what do you have to say about the apology video, Kyle?
You know, I don't. It's so funny to me. Not funny. It's ironic, I should say, of the concept of an apology video to start with,
Hmm.
because just the fact that you're making an apology video, you should be apologizing for something. But he claims that still to this day it was just a cupcake. He was just meeting up for a cupcake. And even in this video, he still doesn't he and that's what kills me about all these videos. We still need to make a tier list of all the famous YouTuber apologies.
Yeah.
Um that's for another time, obviously, but how much of it is just non-apology and it's just them talking, and they hit that 8-minute mark for YouTube ads basically. And this was no different. And I looked in the comments of, I think it was a tweet, right, that I sent you. I was
Hmm.
looking at the comments, and everybody was saying essentially the same thing as, "Oh, EDP's out of money again. He needs to come back to the internet to fill up his
Yeah.
bank account." But I just, these apologies, and and again, as a parent, when it comes to grooming, like, I'm sorry, there's no tolerance. Like, don't come back to the internet. Stay off of it. I don't care what you do. I don't care where you go. Just go, and don't get on. Don't come on. Don't come back on the internet. Don't do all these things. And it just, I don't understand how he still has any platform whatsoever. Like, it's been verifiably proven that he was grooming a child. So I'm gonna get fired up on this one too. I get fired up on these videos, but it kills me. It blows me away. Like, why do you give these people a platform? That's all they want. And I don't know if a certain amount of it is the rage click we talked about last time.
Yeah.
The people that rage click on it to send an angry comment, but they thrive on it. And but yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It was an apology. It was him just making money on whatever platform it was posted on. So
Hmm. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ali?
Well, I haven't seen the video, so I can't say anything on it specifically.
Hmm.
But, I mean, when it comes to child grooming, you can't really apologize for that. There is no apology for that because the damage that you do psychologically to the child in that process of sending those pictures and sending those types of explicit messages, you can't come back from that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you can unsend those messages and be like, oh, nope, they didn't see it or erase it from their mind.
Yeah. Hmm.
There. And the damage is done, and you can't apologize for that.
Hmm.
Like, from my own personal experience, I'm still dealing with symptoms and stuff from the trauma that I went through as a child for being sexually abused. The things that the person that I dealt with that they did it affects you in so many ways that you don't really realize. And even now, it's been, gosh, 9 years since the last episode of it happening. And it's been, so that makes 7 years since we went to trial in court and all that. But there's still things that I'm like, will happen or I'll be triggered in. And I have to really sit back and think and be like, what is that from? And you go back and it's like, oh crap, that is because this person did this to me. And when you think about child groomers, especially now with how technology is and on being able to be online and talk, text, videos, messages, and stuff like that, the amount of kids that they're reaching, you can't tell how many people that they're damaging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A few parts of like the video that I just don't understand. And sorry to like tramp over what you're saying, but like because I've been like thinking about the video and I like reacted to it last night on my live stream, and the thing that really stuck out to me is that he was like complaining about how his position in life is all messed up because of this, and that's not what people want to hear. Well, of course people want to hear that you're doing like shit after doing something like that, but they don't want to hear that in your supposed apology video about how bad you feel about what you did, and that's not what happened. And something else that annoys me is he would keep saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna seek help, I'm gonna do this, but nowhere is it, what does that help? What is your timeline? How are you going to do it? It's just a bunch of vague nonsense that he's trying to say to get on people's good side because he doesn't have an actual plan. So it's terrible.
Yeah, like I said, I think he just, he will resurface on the internet every 3 or 4 years. He'll make a bunch of money from people clicking on his stuff because everybody knows him and everybody hates him. He's one of the most hated faces on the internet, I would say. And yeah, to go along with what Ali said, I don't think there is redemption for that. I mean, maybe like, I don't know, like you were saying, Riley, he's saying, I'm going to go get help. I'm going to do all these things. What?
Mm-hmm.
Like the recidivism rate for pedophiles and pedophilia is like it's non-existent. Like you basically, to put that in simple terms, like you cannot get that out of people's systems. Like that's like it's a pretty ingrained tendency from what I understand from the research I've seen. But just, like I said, get them off the internet. And I don't understand people giving platforms to these people, and like Colleen, whatever her name was,
I think it's
and
Ballinger,
her video was the same way. Basically, it was like, I'm sorry that people think that I did something wrong. I didn't. Maybe I said something inappropriate to a 12-year-old, but hey, it's the internet, and it's like that's not an excuse. That makes you a terrible person that you can't even understand why people are upset.
Yeah. And to follow up with the Colleen stuff, there was like 2 or 3 videos that came out about her after we uploaded the last episode, where she brings up this, I think it was like a 16-year-old girl up on stage while she's singing or something, and she has her on her back with her legs pointed up, and just this weird stuff. And then she's doing blackface in another video. It's yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, and it's crazy too because not getting into politics or free speech issues or anything like that, but like you at some point you gotta get rid of these people, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do it. I don't know how it's done, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
If you do something like that, I think your your podium should be removed from the internet. Like if you want to, I've heard this before when people talk about Alex Jones, like, he said all that stuff about what was it?
Sandy Hook.
Yeah, Sandy Hook, and they're like, take him off the internet because of what those families endured. But I don't care if he manages like a Sprint store or something, just take him off the internet. That's kind of how I feel about the whole like EDP thing. Like I don't really care what he does outside of it, as long of course as it's not what he did to get off. to get kicked off. But just as long as it doesn't have like a platform on here, that's fine, whatever. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard to. Again, I don't want to get too down a political hole here or anything, but I think the worst thing you could do, that if you really wanted to destroy somebody, you would make them look like a predator. Like if you wanted to destroy someone's credibility, 100%. If that would be the worst thing you could do to somebody, would be to make them paint them as that person. And that's why we've talked about it recently the last few weeks. And I don't know if you're into games or not, Ali, but Call of Duty, they did some questionable stuff, and every video they post, every tweet they put out, people are calling them groomers and call of groomers and all this stuff. And it's hilarious at a point, but it's also it's really, it's for the right reasons. It's a really damaging insult to hurl at someone.
Yeah, because even if it's proven to be false, like it's still a seed that's planted in someone's head, so it's always in the back of their head, and that possibility or thought.
He needs to just go away. He's a constant plague on humanity throughout the internet that he'll never go away, because he'll always find. I think he got kicked off of YouTube and all the main platforms, and then I think he came back on TikTok, and now there's Rumble and these other things that he will just continue to do his thing.